all join members. Alan, you're the Alan's going to read us in what?
Would you remind them?
Right now, you need them. Moon out this past weekend. You got the title right here. Annual event this weekend was the harvest.
Yeah, we got some.
Okay. Here. Does everybody have a phone sheet that matches?
We will give them help.
Matthew's here because we have two cars.
We got one.
One is a Volvo, black Volvo, and one is a dark colored Honda.
And never park in front of the dumpster.
Tow trucks are
never ever.
Tow trucks are on the way, so if you want to before the tow truck gets here.
Oh man.
Is anyone? Oh, good. Okay. Okay.
Oh, hey!
Sorry, Mark.
It's just a teaching moment. Sorry to interrupt. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Two choir members just left. All right. Let's celebrate the one-year event of the Harvest Moon. All right. Oh, shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. I ain't had no loving since
January, February, June, or July.
Shine on, time to spare. So shine on, harvest moon for me and my gal.
Me and my guy.
Thank you all very much. Will you join in the Pledge of Allegiance? And thank you very much, Alan. Will you join in the Pledge of Allegiance? Hang on here. And
That's all right.
will you please join me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now, would you please join me during prayer and meditation, as you please. As I say, bless this food to our use and us to thy service. Amen. And now, will the guests, our guest speakers, and any other guests, and the ladies, please be the first to step through the line. And our speakers who put these cards up, and you're welcome to look at them just to get a little background for the presentation. Thank you. Please, I hope you're hungry.
I have to go, otherwise I can't.
And not only are speakers, but they are fellow Rotarians. JPM is a current member of the Exmoor Rotary, and his duties include setting up the newsletter. So he's a newsletter editor. And Sean Hildebrand is a former member, and he's a Paul Harris Fellow. Former member, and former member of
Broadway, Virginia.
Broadway, Virginia.
If you're familiar with Shenandoah Valley, it's just north of Harrisonburg.
Cool. Cool. Well, welcome, both of you. And there's a makeup card on its way to you, I think.
I'll make my meeting this week.
Oh, well, all right.
Get a twofer.
Yeah, here you go.
Double two. Double two.
There you go. All right.
Thank you.
In case you ever miss one.
All right, how about happy dollars? Do we have anyone here who's happy today?
Absolutely.
I'm happy because we just got back from a boat trip from Norway.
Oh, wow.
But I'm more happy because my daughter had brain surgery on the 31st of August, and she's recovering this month.
Hey.
Yay! $10. All right, $10 for Walter. Al.
And I have $15
happy dollars because this weekend I had to change see my 3 grandsons and kind of get grandpa through the
Very good. Very good. Congratulations.
Yeah, they did. I'm tired.
And it's particularly good to see Al here. And he's been trying to make meetings.
15.
But I know it's been a very, very, very busy time. And you have a new job, right?
They kicked me up to my level of incompetence.
No,
congratulations.
Well, I'm sure there's extra money, so put it down for $30. All right. 15, $5 per grandchild. Who else?
Over here, Jim.
Bill.
I have 10 happy dollars, 5 because I'm still promoting the district conference. In mid-October, Jackie and I are going to the district conference, and we're looking for drinking buddies.
What's the date? Where is it?
It's in Richmond, outside Richmond, and it's around the 14th or 15th, that weekend.
Of October. Okay.
And in fact, we will offer a lift.
What is this wee stuff?
So, and the other $5 is because tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I'm getting my 3rd booster shot.
Whoa, okay. Very good. Very good.
So you did $15?
No, 10. What's that?
You have to register for the conference?
Yes, I'll help you with that if you have any difficulty. I know you and computers kind of, are iffy.
What's a computer?
All right, speaking of Rotary events.
It's the 14th and the 15th.
The
Rotary thing.
Okay, good. We have something closer to home coming up this Saturday. Reggie's going to tell us about it.
Something very close to home this weekend on Saturday. Who knows what it is?
Bingo!
No. Pokino.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. It's game social night.
It's Superman.
It's our opportunity to get together and socialize and have some fun and, both the guys who are playing and those who are not, just socialize with the rest of us. But we're looking really forward to it. We have 23 people confirmed. Now we would love to have a couple more. If someone is here who is not yet confirmed, okay, get with me immediately after the meeting, or Jackie, right?
Yeah,
but it's gonna be
friendly
a lot of fun.
Jackie.
Who's done a fun night before with Rotary?
Oh, I've never had a fun night.
Never
with
had
Rotary.
It's about time that we change that. Okay? All right.
Have you ever had a fun night?
No.
5 p.m. here. Saturday.
What do you win in bingo?
Depends on what you scratch.
Good time.
No. We're giving away lottery scratch cards.
Yeah.
What
Depends
about
on what you scratch off this scratch card.
Now, it's a cash bar or a credit card bar?
We talked about that.
Preferably a credit card bar, but if you have cash and don't need change,
Got it. Okay.
then it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
So it's 15,
now, on
25
that
minimum anyway.
We need. I'm sorry. Stan?
I think we had another.
Happy dollars? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, great. Ready? How many happy dollars? It's always about the money, right? $20.
Woo!
Good trip. All right, tell us about it. Bravo. Spain. Okay. I want to hear more about that. That sounds great. Sounds like a lot of fun.
I followed her on Facebook, so I went along with her on the trip.
All right.
That'll be $5.
Watch me.
Any other happy dollars? All right. Apropos of the social, we had a board meeting today, and I want to remind people of a rule that has been on the books, Paul says, for a long time. Our policy is that the club will pay for the members as this Saturday. Coffee's going to pay for the members who attend. No,
Bill
members who attend. Now, there's a little reality in that we have to commit to the number of people who could be there a week or so in advance. So if you reserve a seat and you do not attend, then the club is not paying for you and you will be billed. I'm not trying to be, we're certainly not trying to make money out of it. But it's just, people need to remember, it's a learning moment. We all do it. We all make this kind of mistake, but there needs to be some penalty to remind us that we really need to honor our commitments, basically what it comes down to. And let's see, on the last note, Walter brought something special today.
I did bring something today. It seems the short story for background is a friend of mine asked me to do a favor for him. And without going into a long detail, the idea was that I was going to receive some alcohol from his house. He didn't want any alcohol in his house. And so some of this stuff was never opened. And some of this stuff I have with me.
Got any gin?
Well, stand by. I am proposing to give this away. And I want to do so in a manner that makes some money for the Rotary.
Yeah. Hey.
Whoa. So first of all, what I propose to do is to have sort of an auction.
Yeah.
Start at $3, $4, whatever you want. But here is an unopened bottle of scotch. It has a price tag on it of $16.99.
50 cents.
I don't want a penny out of this.
50 cents.
Okay, I hear 50 cents.
Here's $34. Anyway, do I
$5.
$5, good.
$5. Who else?
We got 5. Anybody go for 6? Brand new full.
Six.
Well, actually, it's not new.
It's in a plastic bottle.
In a plastic bottle. $5.
You can drop it any place.
Going
once,
twice?
going twice.
Sold.
3 times sold for $5 to the Rotary Club.
All right, Bill.
All right.
Bill to the standard $5.
Dan McGregor.
Thank you for your donation.
And now, here is, I'm going to put this together in one.
Bill
this is
Stanner.
Martine and Rossi.
That's
Vermouth.
Oh, drive removed.
And here is another bottle.
Oh, $1.
$10.
Same thing.
I was trying to
I'm
build
gonna
it
put
up.
these together as one. And did I hear $10?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Okay.
I'm
have
overpaying.
He doesn't have any money.
Do you have any money?
His money is your money, and your money is your money, and his is already spent.
Going once.
Going once, going twice, going 3 times, sold to Bill for $10.
All right. Oh, my day.
Very good.
I'm happy again.
Just
Now
sold
with
my
that-
fruits a couple weeks ago.
For those of you who are wondering why we need a brewery. That brings us to our program. And we are.
Wait.
Oh, I'm
How are
sorry.
they making their payments? Do they want it?
Bill us.
I mean, they're not going to pay cash today, is that right?
No. We'll bill.
All right, so I'll
You'll bill it.
I'll put it on their. I'll put it on their bills then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Geez, that's credit. I like the credit
We
here.
are fortunate this afternoon to have 3 members of A&N Electric, excuse me. And we have our 2 speakers, Sean Hildebrand and Jay Diem, but we also have a member
Whoa,
who sits on
look
the
at
board.
Oh, I remember.
So Ralph Dodd is also here. here, and if I understand it, does he get a makeup slip for the board of directors? We can go. There you go. Sean, you'll thank you.
Show it to me.
Appreciate everyone the opportunity to come talk to you today about what we see is happening in the electric industry and A&M. So, well, the impact it's going to have on A&M members. Before I get started, first I want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve you on the shore. Of course, we are the electric utility for the Virginia portion of the shore. So from the bridge all the way up to Maryland, we're it. So appreciate the opportunity to be able to work for our member owners too. That, as I said before, we have the privilege to serve. So with that, as part of us being a local utility, we feel like it's important for us to get out and be able to talk to our membership when we see major things that are happening, not only that impact the cooperative, but also the industry, that we get out and we like talk to you about. So that's what we're here for. What I'm here to talk to you about, of course, is that evil dreaded once a month time that happens, and that's basically your electric bill. We'll talk a little bit about electric bill, kind of what's going on with the electric rates currently, and then be able to hopefully have enough time, and I know we're limited on time, but be able to have enough time to talk about some other things that are going on too. But if you have, or if you haven't noticed, there was a rate increase. I hesitate to say that, but actually a rate adjustment that went on to your bills effective with July 1st. Now you think about the rate increase, but prior to the rate increase, as being a cooperative, the cooperative did retire or refund back to its members $2.8 million worth of capital credits this year. So that kind of helped a little bit. We did that without knowing about this July 1 incident. The July 1 incident, it basically comes from the cost of natural gas. We basically use, for this region, it's called PJM, which is part of the transmission grid. We use about 40%, or I'm sorry, 40% of the generation is from natural gas. So when we have world events, unfortunately like Ukraine, to where they're getting a lot of their energy supply from Russia. So what's the first thing that happens? Of course, when you're in war with another country, you cut off some of the raw materials. Natural gas was impacted. Well, they still have to be able to meet the supply or the demand for natural gas within their country. So what they did is they started importing more. So there became more of a demand for natural gas. So a lot of smart people in this room. So what happens when the demand goes up, but the supply stays the same? The price goes up. And it's got to come from other sources, right? So the United States and an effort that assists, basically it was a stepping stone. It went from Ukraine needs more, they got it from Europe. Europe needs more, they got it from somewhere else. Where was it somewhere else? It was us. So then it took the gas from our markets and basically sent it to Europe and other places that need it. So of course, here we are, over half the world away, and we're being impacted. Just shows you the impact of a global economy. You hear about it all the time, right? But here it is, impacting the individuals on the Eastern Shore. So but that happened as of July 1st. I will say that over time, we're starting to see things kind of settle down a little bit. I don't think we're anywhere out of the woods, don't get me wrong. But hopefully we're going to see maybe not some of the larger increases that we've seen today. I will say that you're thinking that, okay, I'm talking about natural gas. Just so you know, the co-op is an electric distribution utility. What I mean by that, I'm just some guy from the electric utility industry stand up and just give you a bunch of jargon. Now, I'm not going to do that. We're the ones who operate the lines. Okay, we basically take the delivery off the transmission system from another organization. It's their job to get it to us. We actually own a portion of that company that it's their job to get it to us. That's called the Old Dominion Electric Cooperative. They're not only responsible for the transmission lines, but they're also for actually generating the power. So we have, actually there's a board of directors for those folks. We have two members from A&M who are on that board. My boss, Rich Williamson, and also Gary Drummond, another director from Parks and Rec. So we have folks who are part of the decision makers in that organization. So your voice is being heard as a part of A&M even at that transmission and that power generation level. So what is, when I talk about ODEC, just real quick, electrical real fast, what does their power supply portfolio look like? It looks like it's diverse, okay? It has natural gas, it has nuclear, it has coal, it has renewables, it has everything you could possibly have. I will say that we currently still have one coal plant, and that's Clover. Clover does not get used a whole lot at this time, just because they're looking at resources, right? We do also buy on the market too. So there's enough hedging being done or enough price fixing things. We've got people who are just sitting there just managing the supply and how much it's going to cost. It's estimated that the impact that we saw from the natural gas would have been 3 or 4 times greater if it had not been for these officials at ODEC and the fact that they were buying contracts forward, they were buying forwards, basically setting future prices for items as we needed. So with ODEC, another thing I'll add is that with the renewables, everybody always asks, how much renewables do we have? From ODEC, at the ODEC level, we have 5 to 8% of our total power supply mix, and that continues to grow as renewables become more affordable and more capable, I guess, or viable. Of course, they're going to be looking at it. They're going to look at what's the best way to supply the power to our membership. I will also say they also have to think about not only the price, but what's the reliability of it. We have to make sure that when we call upon it or when we need it, it's there for us. So we have to make sure that we have a good base load. When I talk about base load, I'm talking about the natural gas, the coal, the nuclear facilities. We do actually have a nuclear facility also. The coal and the nuclear facilities are owned in partnership with Dominion through ODEC. So we're not on this by ourselves. So it's a pretty big price tag there. The one thing I wanted to point out is the piece of the bill that changed was what we call the power cost adjustment. If you look at the history of the power cost adjustment, in 2018, when we set it, and all this information is on your sheet there, we set it at 0 because we had a general rate case at that time. Once it goes to 0, it can go up or down because our power supply cost is a straight pass through to our membership. Okay, so whatever we pay for it, that's how much we charge you all for it. Okay, where we make what margins we have is on the distribution side. That's why we were formed, right? Was to provide that to the distribution of electrons. So anyway, when you look back, as in October 2018, it was 0. We reset it. And then it went through a period of time where you can see it was mostly credits. And then unfortunately, come July 1, it went from a credit of 0.2 cents to a charge of 1.3 cents. So that's pretty substantial. That's about a 1.5 cent per kilowatt increase from one time period to the next. So that's currently where we're at in regards to the what we're paying and what you're paying. I'll tell you, there's going to be another adjustment, either up or down, as of January. In January, each year they adjust the bills, or unless there's something needs to be done between now and then, it would most likely be in January. The hope is that we've taken some steps to be able to minimize whatever the impact is, but whatever it costs us is what we're going to turn around and charge our membership. So. Now, that's really talking about the energy rates. One thing we wanted to do as part of these presentations is we wanted the
stops inside of your page. That's what
yes, I'm sorry. What we wanted to do as part of the presentation was to be able to communicate about the community resources that are available to help with paying bills, what programs the community has within it, what programs we have at the cooperative. Contrary to popular belief, I don't think it's real popular, but just something that may be a little abnormal, the electric utility does not want to disconnect you. Okay? Especially A&M, especially at cooperative, because we're owned by the folks that we serve. If there's ever a situation where people have a hard time paying their bill, the best thing for them to do is to contact the cooperative. And then we'll be able to guide them to resources that can help pay their bill, or we'll be willing to work with them to try to set up a payment. I'll tell you, during COVID, We went through a situation to where we could not, it was state mandated that we could not disconnect those, which I get, so it makes total sense. Once we came out of COVID, we stressed that fact right, that point right there was that we wanted to have those conversations. We wanted to know that you were willing to at least have a conversation with the utility and try to figure out how we could get you back to being a good customer, good number. We know it did take 30 days to get the situation, so we were willing to set up payment plans. We had some payment plans that were for a year, year and a half, 2 years, whatever we needed to do, but we understood. So being a community organization, that's part of our job, right? Yes, sir.
Would you go as far as pro bono for, I mean, for some people who are just like dead out?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything we can do, whether or not, and I'm actually going to talk about a program here we have called Prepaid that might be able to assist that. That's kind of similar, I would say. But we would also, as long as people are communicating with us, that's the most important thing. The ones that we get concerned about is folks who may have a large bill with us, who then never contact. The next thing you know, you go out to the residents to disconnect, or you just do a ride by just to see what the status is, and they're gone. Yeah, because you're never going to see that, most likely, except with capital credits and things of that nature retired. So, some of the other, so what was that? Over here. Okay, the program's available from the membership. Of course, everybody's probably heard of Members Helping Members. It's an opportunity, it's an organization within the cooperative that is, there's a board for that organization. It's actually made up of cooperative employees, folks from the community, and then basically we collect money through different avenues. One of them is operation, or the ability for current members to have their bill actually go up to the next dollar. That's fair change, then gets put into a fund. That then gets administered by this board of directors, that then turns around and allocates the money to the different counties, the social services for each county. The social services then takes applications for those grants or awards, and then they help people who really are in dire need. We're not the social services for the 2 counties. We're going to turn it over to the folks who actually deal with those members on a daily basis. They understand the hardships. They understand the people and how they should get them. There's also some grant programs that we've applied for, and I'll say that I think last year we helped over 290 accounts. So it's a good thing. So it's kind of a way of giving back. We also have budget billing program, which is very familiar. I think if you have natural gas, we talked conversation earlier. Basically, it helps you make your bill a little bit more dependable. Or I guess so that you know exactly how much you're going to be paying, not exactly much, but within a range. The program I was speaking of a minute ago, we actually have started what we call prepaid metering. And I always like to say that you don't have to go over and put coins in your meter or anything. It's not that. It's basically, you can call us up and you can say, I'd like to get onto your prepaid metering program. Or I'd like to learn more about it first, right? And so then once we go through that exercise and we work and we help you understand it, you can actually put money, you give us money in advance, you give us $100, all right? And then you can actually let it run down. So instead of getting an electric bill after you've already used it and you're surprised, oh my gosh, I got a bill this month for $500, what happened? This way, you have the ability to be able to control how much money that you're giving us, when you're giving us, and you're kind of like, well, that's kind of, what's the benefit? The benefit on the other side is that who here has signed up for our Smart Hub? Have you ever heard of Smart Hub? It's the app that we have, or the web access that we have for your account that you can pay your bill and things on. If you haven't heard of it, get on it. It's pretty neat because it can show you your usage. So what happens is like, if you give us $100, it will sit there and it will use up that $100 based on your electric usage, and it'll show you how much you use every day. So when, let's say, the grandkids come over, you have the grandkids for a long weekend, right? So you're doing a lot more laundry, or maybe a lot more cooking, a lot more activity at your house. You'll actually be able to see your bill go up because of that usage. So that's kind of how the program works. It's actually, it's pretty neat, and it's not just neat, just to do things neat. It's neat from the standpoint that studies have showed that anywhere from about 10 to 20% of usage is impacted, because you're actually looking at what you're doing, and you can actually change your behaviors over a shorter period of time and make improvements in whatever you're doing, and instead of just getting a bill at the end. Because then you get the bill at the end, you're like, God, man, like I said before, it was $400, $500 for my electric bill. So I know it sounds kind of, I'll say, hokey. I'm not a Virginia Tech hokey. I'm sure there's some in the group, but I'm not a hokey. I'm a Duke. Jamie, you Duke. Go I'm not even going to ask. We got a couple big games coming up, so I'm going to keep an eye. So outside the prepaid metering, we also offer free in-home energy audits. Did y'all know that? We offer a free in-home energy audit. Oh, you can contact the office, and then we have a gentleman, his name's RJ Johnson. RJ is a great guy. He's very personable. He'll come in, he'll spend time with you, look at your situation, offer some suggestions. Does a great job. He's I think for the past year he's done close to 100 of these energy audit folks. So that's available for. And then of course, like I was talking about earlier, we have the member specific payment plans. So that was the whole deal of, make sure that you're contacting us. If you can't make the payment or you can't pay the bill, contact us. Right now we have those set up for folks. So are we close, or do I have about 2 more minutes? 5 minutes? Okay, but that's with questions, right? Okay, cool. The next thing I want to talk about real quick, if you're on your paper, there are some additional resources, contact information. So if you know somebody who may be who may have a situation that needs some help, pass this along to them or have them contact us. The other thing I wanted to talk about was supply chain issues. Right now, we're seeing the electric utility industry is not only changing from a power supply perspective, it's also changing because of this supply chain situation we got going on. Right now, normally it would be about anywhere from 5 to, let's say, 12 weeks to get a transformer, whether or not that's overhead or underground. Okay, now that sounds like a long time. But some of these same transformers is taking us a year, it's going to take us a year or 2 to get. So it's gotten much worse. And even when we do get it, the prices have gone crazy. And it's all coming out, well, not all, but some of it's coming out of COVID. The manufacturing was shut down. Everything was shut down. Everything's starting to get geared up. And they basically flushed everything out of the system. So, yes, sir.
Where are the transformers coming from?
Well, they're both United States and then also foreign made. So a lot of ours there's some that's produced in Mexico. So they're coming from all over the place. And it's raw materials and it's labor, it's everything. And then what's, kind of like the utility, you want to make sure that you're ready when you see if you see a storm, you always carry surplus to make sure, hopefully, I don't want to say the H word, but if a large storm came on board, we want to make sure we have the resources to be able to put the system back together. And all the utilities are seeing it. So what's happening now, just kind of like that supply and demand thing we were talking about earlier, except it's on the supply and the demand side. It's driving the prices through the roof. So we're actually paying multiples more for building a new service. One thing we are doing, we're looking at what accounts have been idle for a long while. That's basically been out there. What can we pull back that we can try to reuse? Trying to make use of those materials before we start hitting our stocks. We do have stock of these items, but I will tell you that everybody, pretty much in the electric utility industry, is holding their breath to get to this hurricane season. If we have a situation that happens like in the Gulf or Florida or even, we could be in a dire situation. It's eating it to a point to where there's been conversations about the electric utilities have an obligation to serve folks who move into their areas, right? We may be at some point, and it's not now, until a point where we have to give priority over who we serve and not. If somebody's just looking to put a transformer up on a storage building versus somebody who's in a full-time house, which one do we need to serve? This is somebody's primary residence versus somebody just adding additional service to their house. We're not there yet. And it's going to be interesting to see how Virginia handles that, because Virginia's always been that the utility has an obligation to serve, which I'm totally on board with. But unfortunately, times they are changing. Questions?
Your substation over at Chilton, is that Chariton? Is that a question of trying to get ahead of everything with that substation?
Yes,
this area? Just
future planning. Yep, just to be able. I think we saw there were some items, some things we could have done better. We have right across the street there an older substation that's probably ran its time, and then just looking at what we could do to pick up any increased load.
Is that online now?
It's scheduled to be within the next 30 days. Yep. Well, it'll be online, but we won't change the system design until we know that it's what we'll do when you do something like that is you always you turn the station on. I won't say turn on, but you energize the station.
Show the switch.
We flip the switch to the station, let it run for a while, kind of like the old mechanic. Just let it run for a while, we'll see if it's okay. No, it's not, that's not the case. Do what? Yes, sir.
Two questions.
Yes, sir.
When I'm looking at my computer, it says things the power company does not want you to.
You're reading that stuff? We don't want you to know anything. You're not supposed to read that.
That's one. And the second one, I'm thinking about whether it has any negative impact on the people that live so close to that Bayview Center that's coming up. Physically or whatever.
No, I wouldn't say there is any negative impact. If anything, it's going to improve their electric service.
I mean,
for health-wise.
Health-wise.
I don't know that. I mean, we have to take all that into account when we're building associations. Yes, sir.
What's the average kilowatt hour that people use?
Residential?
Yes.
A good rule of thumb is about 1,000 kilowatt hours per month.
So that's okay.
And that's a rule of thumb. Now I'm looking. I mean, we're talking about down to a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house up to about a 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom house. Right. For my areas are responsible for the budget. When we do budgeting for our sales, we usually forecast for residential about 1,000 plus or minus.
One more question. One last question.
The solar farms that are on the Eastern Shore, are they yours or Old Dominion's?
They're not ours, and they're not Old Dominion. There's actually developers out there too. So I mean, I'll be honest with you, Old Dominion may own some of them, but I know we don't.
But you don't own them.
And so the developer or another generation transmission company can own those, and then what they'll do is they'll sell off the electricity. So they'll enter a purchase power agreement off of those. So that's what ODEC has done. They've entered into a purchase power agreement, the one near Eastville.
Yeah.
So that's specifically when ODEC has a purchase power agreement. So some of that electricity that's in that 5 to 8% that we were talking about, that's where it's coming from.
So the same with windmills?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we are running out of time.
Oh.
Well, I'll stay as long as if people
that's great.
Welcome to leave. I'll stay as long as you want me.
Yeah. Super. Okay. I want you two to know that our club has underwritten the distribution of copies of Meet the Greek to 5-year-olds graduating from the Literacy Council's 3-book Dolly book giveaway, and they have they will be putting a plaque, one of these little insets into one of the books with your name and that A&E Electric Cooperative and ANN, excuse me, Electric Cooperative, and thank you very much.
Well, absolutely.
For coming.
Thank you for the invite.
Please stay.
I will be here.
All right. Will everyone please stand for the Rotary Pledge? Is it the truth? Is it fair and all concerned? Will it
goodwill and friendship
will be beneficial to all concerned.
Yeah, we're gonna ring the bell, go forward, and service above self. Thank you.
Man, will we have fun?
Oh, wait, don't move. Stand. The fifth rule.
Oh, will we have fun?
All right, now I ring the bell.
Yeah.